Okay, gonna read another definition here quickly. Hope the recording volume's okay. And we're not we're not stopping if we make mistakes. So here we go. Curia, Latin, number 1. And this is a lengthy, well, it's not a lengthy definition, but there's different types of curia, and I'm just gonna read through all of it. I think it's gonna cover a whole page here, almost. Curia, number 1, Roman law, one of 30 divisions, 3 tribes of 10 curiae, into which the Roman people were said to be divided by Romulus. See Comitia Curiata under Comitia. Number 2, Roman law, a legislative gathering, especially of the Roman Senate. the building used for the gatherings. Number 3, historically, a judicial tribunal held in the sovereign's palace, a royal court, abbreviated CUR period. Number 4, historically, a court. Number 5, the papal court, including its functionaries and officials. And here's a source that's quoted. The word curia in classical Latin is used in a number of ways. Apparently, it meant at first a subdivision of the people. It was also used by a transfer, which is not too clear, for the building in which the Roman Senate met. By an almost inevitable development, it became the word for the Senate itself, and later the ordinary designation for the council in municipalities of the later empire. How much of this was still recalled in medieval times we cannot tell, but in the early Middle Ages, curia was a common word to describe both the groups of men who generally were found in attendance on pope, emperor, king, or prince, and the groups which were summoned by him to give him counsel. The curia, in the latter sense, however, was not really a casual group of persons summoned spasmodically to advise the king or any other person. It has come to be, in feudal Europe, the ordinary Latin word for the general meeting of the lord's vassals, which itself grew out of the Germanic mot, or thing. The curia of the king was in theory a larger and more important example of the same kind of assemblage. It's got the reference, Max Radin, 1936, Handbook of Anglo-American Legal History. Okay, now getting away from the basic definition and into different types. Curia Admiralitatis. See High Court of Admiralty. Curia Adversari Vult. The court will be advised, the court will consider. This phrase signaled a court's decision to delay judgment pending further consideration. In England, the phrase is still used in all Court of Appeal decisions when the judgment is reserved, that is, not delivered after the hearing. Okay, next definition, curia baronis. See court baron. Next definition, curia burgi. See court of hustings. Next definition, curia cancellaria. See cancellaria. Okay. Next definition, curia Christianitatis. Historically an ecclesiastical court. See ecclesiastical court under court. Sorry. Next definition, curia claudenda. See okay, I better. Curia comitatus, curia domini. Okay, this one has a definition. A lord's house or hall used as a meeting place for tenants during court sessions. Curia magna. Law Latin, great court. An ancient name for parliament. Curia palatii. Palace court. Curia regis. Number 1, the chief court in early Norman England, established by William the Conqueror. The curia regis was a body of advisors who traveled with the king, advising him on political matters and acting as an appellate court in important or complicated cases. Over time, the functions of the curia regis became exclusively judicial in nature, also termed King's Court, aula regis. Okay, now there's a reference, a quote, I guess. This is still for curia regis. We are tempted to use terms which are more precise than those that were current in the 12th century. In particular, we are wont to speak of the curia regis without remembering that the definite article is not in our documents. Any court held in the king's name by the king's delegates is curia regis. Thus, the institution of what in course of time will be a new tribunal, a court of king's bench, or a court of common pleas, may be found in some small rearrangement, some petty technical change, which at the moment passes unnoticed. Okay, there's another quote. Again, curia regis. A small body collects round the king, a body of administrators selected from the ranks of the baronage and of the clergy. At its head stands the chief justiciar and king's right-hand man, his viceroy when the king is, as often he is, in foreign dominions. The body, when it sits for financial purposes, constitutes the exchequer, scasarium, so called for the checkered cloth which lies on the table, convenient for the counting of money. Also it forms a council in court of law for the king. It is a curia regis, the king's court, and its members are justiciari, justiciars of justices of the court. Under Henry I, they are sent into the counties to collect taxes and to hold pleas. They are then justiciari errantes, justiciare itinerantes. During the whole period, the term curia regis seems loosely used to cover both the sessions of this permanent body and the assembly of the tenants-in-chief. The former may perhaps be regarded as a standing committee of the latter. Okay, now there's another quote. Again, curia regis. The focal point of royal government was the curia regis, King's Court, the body of advisors and courtiers who attended the king and supervised the administration of the realm. It was not a specific court of law, and more than the ire was, but rather was the descendant of the Anglo-Saxon Wittengemot, meeting with the Witan, or royal advisors, and the ancestors of the King's Council, which later subdivided into Parliament and the Privy Council. And there's a second part of the definition, a single sentence, for curia regis, the sessions of this court. And that concludes the definitions of curia.